Hello, beloved ones. This is Lorelei with the Tightrope to 5D Music Reactions. And if you wonder about that crazy name, stick around to the end. I'm going to give you a special message about this historic shift from third dimensional consciousness to fifth dimensional consciousness happening right now on our planet. But before that, we're going to look at a little bit of Angelina Jordan, Million Miles. So let's see what she has in store for us today.
As a child, I walk the streets, they see me growing up. Know you were all I need. I see me in myself through all the years, as like it's in my tears. I think what he's given me, the smiles and the memories, but now he's not here to hold my hand. In the light of the blue sky, I'm not alone to fight. I'll never regret what I do. We're a million miles apart. It's pulling my heart like an empty bubble to be thrown. I can't make it stop, but I know in my heart, I know that I'm never alone. I know I'm never alone. I know that I'm never alone, never alone.
She's always riffing around so beautifully. Let's go back a little and hear some more.
I'll never regret what I do. We're a million miles apart. It's pulling my heart like an empty bubble to be thrown. I can't make it stop, but I know in my heart, I know that I'm never alone. I know I'm never alone. I know that I'm never alone, never alone, never alone. You said I'm wild.
Okay, wow. So I'm trying to figure out why she's never alone. Because at first I thought she was sad about the relationship, but now maybe she's saying that they're so far apart that's why they're far apart, but they're never alone because they're in each other's hearts or something. Oh, tell me what you think it is. By the way, like my video, please, and like hers when you're done. It's in the link is in the notes, and subscribe so you can see more. But I wonder what that is. So comment what you think that she is saying here. Maybe we'll hear more as we go forward.
Watching you from the moon, I'm everywhere, see everything you do. I can't see you, but I know you're here. It's like you're in my tears. I think what he's given me, the smiles and the memories, but now he's not here to hold my hand. In the light of the blue sky, I'm not alone to fight. I'll never regret what I do. We're a million miles apart. It's pulling my heart like an empty bubble to be thrown. I can't make it stop, but I know in my heart, I know that I'm never alone. I know I'm never alone.
Oh, nice. Let's hear that again. Let's hear that again. Apologies for the phone in the background there, guys. I can't really get up to stop it. And my mom is 94, so she often doesn't answer it. Here we go.
But I know in my heart, I know that I'm never alone. I know I'm never alone. I know that I'm never alone. I wonder when I close my eyes, are you in my dreams tonight? I wonder. I wonder, are your friends the stars? It's
beautiful song. Do you know anything about it, friends? That's so beautiful. I, I think it's about a love interest, but at one point I thought maybe it was someone who had passed away. And she was singing about never being alone. But I think in the beginning she said about not having any regrets or something, which is something you usually say about a love interest. Um, but I mean, this is such a powerful song. Like, just she did sang it so beautifully. And if you talk about my scale, which is one being very third dimensional, fear, pain, sadness, anger, etc., and 10 being very fifth dimensional, love, joy, bliss, and kind of trying to move in that direction. Well, this is interesting because it's a little bit of a sadness or a pensiveness, but on the other hand, she's saying, I'm never alone, so I know I'm never alone. And the sound of it just is soothing on the cells of your body, right? Just kind of feels good, right? So she's moving in the direction of the fifth dimension, or moving us in the direction, because I mean, it's not fully there, because it is about sort of a sadness or a loneliness maybe is in there, but also it's about that she's never alone. She knows that in her heart she's never alone. And that's so true about the fifth dimension, right? We're so sure we're never alone. Like, right, the individuals that are not even in physical form in some ways are more real even than people in physical form, because wow, they've been around since time immemorial, consciousness individuals, right? So they're actually more real. They came before us, measly little human things, right? So the understanding of someone and being with them in that kind of, like, I don't know, the mind's playground or the imagination is actually very real. So in that sense, it's very high. So I'm going to go for this one like about a 7. I think it's moving in the direction, firmly moving in the direction, but not all the way there. But that doesn't mean how great she did it, because she did a phenomenal job. Good job. By the way, if you'd like to know a little bit about me, you can look out the About Me video on this site, and that'll also lead you to a longer video where I tell you about my sort of forged in the fire of third dimensional journey in life, okay? Forged in the fire, literally. And also, if you want to know some of the things I've created with the skills and talents I kind of gleaned, you can look at the description on YouTube here and drop down to the About Lorelei on Patreon, and that will tell you some of that, some of the things that you might want to participate in. So, all right. So, by the way, if you'd like a particular message, we're going to go into my 5D message about this historic shift here. And that means we're something that's absolutely never been done on this planet, moving or anywhere for a mass of a population, for a total population of a planet. Never done anywhere, not in the whole universe, right? So moving from the mass of a planet being of a third dimensional consciousness to the mass of the planet being a fifth dimensional consciousness. The entire actually planet and population will be at some point fifth dimensional consciousness. That love, that peace, that joy, that harmony, like abounding, the brotherhood, all of that. So, by the way, if you'd like me to answer a particular question that you have in these messages, please put it in the comments. Give me a few weeks and look in the comment in each video, in the notes, what the message is, and you'll find your question there at some point. If it's a reasonable question, of course. So let's see. My topic for today is how long have people lived on this planet? How long have people lived on this planet? Because I heard something the other day, and I wanted to address this. I heard something on the news saying that we've been on the planet, human beings have been on the planet 6,000 years. And I thought, 6,000 years? I don't think so. You see, we have to understand that, first of all, scientists think they know everything. And one minute they're telling us that the planet is eons old, and the next minute they're telling us, oh, it's really not that old because we miscalculated the timing of how you time the fossils that are in the ground or something like that. My sister was telling me, so it's really not that old. And they go back and forth, and they think they know, and every time they go, they think they know. So now they think they know that humans been around on the planet for 6,000 years. Except that that's not the information that I'm getting. It's not the information I'm getting from my higher self. It's not the information that I'm getting from the largest of things that I've read or the messages that have been coming and channeled in from various different individuals out there. There are millions of people channeling messages from the higher dimensional beings, by the way. So if I'm crazy, well, then a whole lot of people went crazy all at once. So it's not the message we're getting. But if you look at our understanding, long about 8,000 years ago, it was about 10,000 years ago, because it was 8,000 years BCE, before Christ. And in that time frame was when there was existing this civilization called Lemuria, and also another civilization called Atlantis. We'll talk about that in a minute. So that Lemurian civilization, basically there was a catastrophic event and it sank underneath the ocean. That's what we understand, both from channeled messages, from my understanding, and from putting it together from various things I've read online and everything else. So that right there places us at 10,000 years we've been here. Except that Atlantis was spoken about by Plato. Way back when, in the days of the Greeks, Plato was speaking about ancient Atlantis. And if you sort of analyze what he was saying and so on and so forth, you come up with about 9,500 or 600, let me check. 9,600 years before Christ was Atlantis. And Atlantis was here at that time. So we add another 2,000 years for Christ. So that there is 11,600 years. Almost double what was told to us. Now that's what is being told to us now by the knowledgeable scientists, right? Now that's just when I think catastrophic events and changes were happening in Atlantis. So, and as I understand it, Atlantis was around a long time before Lemuria even came around. Now, I don't know how much a long time, whether it was, maybe it was just the 1,600 years, but I thought it was more in the realm of several thousand years that they had been around. I don't really know, but I'm trying to, so for sure, they were around before Lemuria, and I think it was longer than that 1,600 years. So let's just give it maybe 3,000 years, just for the sake of argument, because I think it was longer than that too. So that there is, okay, so 8,000, 9,000, 11,000 plus 2,000. That's 13,000 years at a low estimate of how long people have been on this planet. Well, why is that even important, right? You might even say, why is that even important? Well, it wouldn't necessarily be so very important, except that it seems like the powers that be are working awfully hard to tell us that we haven't been here that long. It's only been 6,000 years now, right? And then also that all that Atlantis stuff is it's just a myth. All that Lemuria stuff is just a myth. It's just, it's just fiction. It just, it just sprang up out of nowhere, and it's just a myth, and it's just fiction. Okay, I see, but it just sprang up out of nowhere, right? It's just a myth. It's just fiction. And you can find, and where this becomes very questionable is when everywhere you go online, oh, the myth of this, the myth of Atlantis, the myth of Lemuria, the fictional Atlantis, the fictional Lemuria, Wikipedia, the fictional, the mythical, every place you go is telling you how this is a myth and it's fiction, it's not true. And how come? How come I'm not seeing in my Google searches the people who actually believe that those things exist? I mean, I probably would find them if I went down 10 and over several pages, and I'd finally find the people who have made a science out of proving that these places really did exist, right? I'd finally find them at some point, right? But boy, they are working awfully hard to tell me that none of that ever existed. So then the question becomes, why don't they want us to know that ancient Lemuria and Atlantis actually existed? What is the reason for that? That's a good question. Could it be possibly because ancient Lemuria and Atlantis were fifth dimensional consciousness civilizations? Is this still yet another attempt to keep us stuck down here in third dimension by not letting us know our true history, that we actually came as a human race. We were actually in the higher dimensions already, and we fell down, and now we can rise up again, because that implies if we were higher and we fell down, then we could still rise up again. But for us to know that makes it a lot easier, doesn't it? Because it changes our consciousness, right? It makes us think, maybe that's possible. Wow, that's interesting. But no, they do not want us to know that those fifth dimensional civilizations existed here on planet Earth. So that's very interesting. And it's also interesting when I think about it, that long about the time that there was all this chaos going on in ancient Atlantis. See, I've been telling you about how we're passing through the photon belt, where the high dimensional God light comes in and is hitting us like in massive amounts, and normally might cause catastrophe, right? But now, because we're in the higher vibrations, you can look at my last video, right? Because we're moving toward that, we're actually going to move up in vibration because of this light, right? It takes this to move up, right? So if you look at the timeline of when all of this was going, that never happened according to Wikipedia and everything else, right? It was around the time of the midpoint, 26,000 years, around 13,000 years is when all of this catastrophe was happening. 11 to 13, we'll put it in there, okay? So it's coming, basically what we're talking about is like our planet had gotten the furthest point away from the photon belt that it possibly could when all of this falling in vibration began to happen. And that kind of makes sense, doesn't it? Because you're furthest away from the God light and the divine source light, and now things happen, and other individuals were trying to drive our planet to kind of lose vibration and go down. So at that time is when a lot of that was happening. That's exactly like about the point of time when these catastrophes were happening with Atlantis and with Lemuria. So that's kind of interesting. So knowing our history allows us to say, okay, we've been there before. We don't have to stay stuck here in this third dimensional misery and pain and suffering. We can just move right back up to where we've already been before as a human race. And how wonderful is that? Okay, beloved ones, I'm sending you that beautiful fifth dimensional energy, the peace, the love, the bliss, the joy, the abundance, the brotherhood for all, the affluence for all. Sending it all to you now. Namaste. I honor the God in you.